sunshine.
You bring me butterfly to the sky. You move me up and down, all around,
all in your mouth.
Something that I never felt before.
On your mouth, on your mouth. Yes, indeed. Inside. That's the jam right there. What's up, everybody? This is another episode of the Mack Lessons Radio Show. This is Mr. Tariq Elite, also known as King Flex, also known as Tariq Nasheed. I'm here live, ready to spit some of that hot fire, making it do what it do. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is brought to you by the real Master P.I. Boss Hog Macaroni. That's Kevin Derek Gentry, the Iceberg Slim of this generation. Get all of his books at Amazon.com, and you can get personal coaching from him. Call him directly at 248-662-5361, or you can check out his website at BecomeRichFamousFast.com. And today's show is brought to you by Case Ultra and their new t-shirt collection called The Mystic Ones. It's inspired by ancient symbols and mysteries of the universe, blended with modern style. If you sign up for their t-shirt subscription, you'll get a new t-shirt delivered every month. You'll never have to worry about getting another shirt again. All the Mack Lessons Radio users use coupon code KFLEX and get 50% off on everything on the site. That is caseultra.com, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget to check out the film, The Eugenist, available on iTunes and on Amazon. And check out my lecture DVD, Relationships, Riches, and Race. That's available on Amazon. And all of my books are on Amazon. The Art of Mack and The Mack Within, Player Be Played, The Art of Gold Digging, all that good stuff. You can get it at Amazon. All my documentaries, Hidden Colors, all that good stuff. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. And I got a lot of stuff to talk about on today's show. But before I get into that, let's see who we got on the phone. Because the phone lines are lighting up right now. Let's chop up on the phone real quick. What's up? Who's calling?
Hey, how you doing? This is Victor.
Hey, man, where you calling from, player?
Nothing too much. My man's on Facebook, Tariq Nasheed. He posted a link with a number for your radio show, Mack. I mean, the lessons and whatnot. I was real curious. I'm articulate. I could take it anywhere you want to. I thought this was some intelligent conversation stuff.
Okay, bro, some of the shit I don't know what you're talking about. What's all that noise in the back, player?
That's not bad. That's not bad. My son, he's watching the first game. I just retreated to my bed, man.
This nigga calling from a car wash. All right, so
can you hear me better now?
A little bit, man. Hold on. Wait. You got it together, player?
Yes, I did.
There you go. Okay, so what's on your mind, man?
A lot on my mind. As far as right now, I would say the negativity in rap and hip hop, that's been weaponized to a lot of people.
Okay, I gotta let this cat go, man. Let me tell y'all something, man. You don't have to get prepaid phones no more, people. They got real good deals on iPhones, Blackberries. What niggas are calling up with these raggedy ass phones, I just can't get it. Y'all got to have your phone game together. Y'all got to keep the flow of the show popping with your phone game. What's up? Who's calling?
This is Dewan from Columbus.
All right, what's going on? How you doing from Columbus? What's your name, player?
Dewan.
What's going on, Dewan from Columbus? What's on your mind?
Oh, man, just these shows you've been doing as far as like with the Paula Deen type topics with racism. I just think it's wonderful, man. We really got to wake these brothers up, wake the black community, not just us brothers, but, we spend a lot of time really just campaigning, getting pussy, but it's time to wake up, man. They're not playing in these streets. And
absolutely.
Just, enlighten a lot of brothers about what's going on and the covert war that's going on. Like Dr. Umar has that book talking about the warfare against black boys. We really got to wake up and start taking better care of our community.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for the call, player. Yeah, shout out to brother Dr. Umar Johnson. He has a new book out, and I think it might be available on Amazon. I've been meaning to get a copy of my brother's book, so check out Umar Johnson's new book. I heard it was good. I heard a few people who read the book, and they said it was good. But the brother who just called, he was referencing something that I'm going to talk about on today's show. One of the many things I'm going to talk about on today's show, and I'm going to chill out with the calls right now because I want to get into the flow of the game. And one thing I want to talk about later in the show, I want to talk about that whole 2 Chainz robbery. Y'all heard about the rapper 2 Chainz. He got robbed last week, or I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, he got robbed. I want to get deep into that, but something happened today that the brother on the phone was just referencing. Something happened with Paula Deen. Now, for those who don't know who Paula Deen is this lady, this older Caucasian lady from the South, Southern lady. And she has a cooking show, or had a cooking show. I know she has several cookbooks, and she's just America's darling. Oh, they love her. That old Southern hospitality. I'm Paula Deen, y'all. I'm going to show you how to make fried chicken Southern. I mean, she's all that Southern, good old feisty Southern shit. And her show is very popular. And recently, I think like within the last year, I think she said she had diabetes. And a lot of people were criticizing her for the diabetes because the food she cooks is so fattening, you know. But Paula Deen is one of these old school Southerners. And she got in some trouble recently. Paula Deen got in trouble. I think one of her employees or some people who were working for her, they were suing her for some low-key slick shit she was doing behind the scenes. They were saying that she's on some racist shit. You know, they accused her of racism. She tried to pull a lot of little racist stunts behind the scenes. I'm not really shocked with Paula Deen. Don't let that good old country Southern girl thing fool you. And that's another thing about people who cook Southern food. Southern food is basically soul food. You understand? That's whenever you see a place that says Southern food, that means it's a soul food restaurant owned by white folks. That's what Southern food means. It means that a white person owns the establishment. They don't want to call it soul food because soul food is synonymous with black. And that's all Southern food is black food. I mean, who the hell was cooking the food in the goddamn South? Even with Paula Deen, with all her little recipes, I'm pretty sure that she got them recipes from some black folks. Most of them Southern people get all their recipes from black people who used to work for them, work for the family. All of them do. All those quote-unquote family recipes. There's some black folks they done took the recipe from, flipped it, and made a gazillion dollars out of it. Just like Colonel Sanders. I talked about Colonel Sanders on my show before. How it was an open secret that he took that secret Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe from a black female in the South. But I digress as far as that. But with Paula Deen, she got in trouble because, again, she was being sued, and there was some kind of deposition that was recorded, and the transcript got out. The tabloid media got a hold of the transcript. And in the transcript, Paula Deen is admitting to saying and behaving in racist activity. She's admitting to saying racist things. Now, they're kind of throwing her under the bus in the media. And if you haven't heard about it, again, this just broke today. The tabloids just let it out, and it's going to break even more later on this week. And some people might say, well, damn, why are they throwing her under the bus? Because there's a lot of people who have been criticized for saying racist things, but they're really having a field day on her. And I'm going to tell you why. Not because she insulted black folks. There's a couple of reasons why they're getting in Paula Deen's ass. One reason is because she also said something slick about the Jewish community as well. She made some anti-Semitic jokes, and the Jewish community don't really fuck around like that. The black folks are all scared and, timid and just kind of say things under their breath. But other communities, if you say something about them, they quickly throw that ass right on under the bus. Other people don't fuck around like we do. We're scary as hell in the black community. But that's one thing. That's how they got Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, he was saying nigga this, nigga that, and then he started saying stuff about Jewish folks, and oh no, they got in his ass. They don't fuck around like that. But with Paula Deen, the main reason they're getting in her ass is because she broke the code. And there's a new code in racist behavior in this country. There's a brand new code that you have to abide by in order to maintain the system. Because people want to maintain the system, but the thing is you got to maintain the system without seeming like you're trying to maintain the system. And the new rule of racism today is denial. It's denial and play dumb. That's the new rule. And this is where Paula Deen messed up. Because, see, let's go back for a minute. Remember, up until the 1960s, you can be just as openly racist as possible in this country against whoever. And it was totally acceptable. If you wanted to discriminate against a person working, no Negroes can work at this job. If you wanted to discriminate against people going to school, no blacks going to this school. They were very open and overt about it. There was no hiding, no beating around the bush. People were very open about their racism, usually towards the black community. Racism was very direct. It wasn't that minority stuff back in the day. They were very specific about who they were discriminating against. And no niggers. No niggers here after dark. No niggers here after 6. No niggers drink from this water fountain. It didn't say no minorities. They were very specific. No gray area. They were very specific about it. Now, after the 1960s, it became illegal to do that because black folks raised so much hell, black people kicked up so much sand, black people brought so much international attention to that hypocrisy and racism. It was no longer feasible and viable for people to just be openly racist like that. You couldn't just say, I hate niggers and I'm not going to let niggers go to this school. You couldn't say that, but you still wanted to maintain the system. So how do you maintain the system and avoid breaking the law? Because it's now illegal to say or discriminate against a person openly. So they had to come up with a new rule. The new rule is let's maintain the system, but let's just deny it. Let's not wear it on our sleeve. Let's just deny the racism. So now when you see a disparaging amount of African-American men going to jail, it's not because of racism. It's their own fault. They just didn't pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They just commit, their blackness makes them commit all this crime. It's their fault. When you see blacks not getting hired at jobs, it's not racism. These niggas are just not qualified. And we just don't take affirmative action here. So it's their own fault. You understand what I'm saying? It's the denial thing. When we see blatant racism like Trayvon Martin getting shot, he was acting like a thug. It's his own fault. It's no racism here. As a matter of fact, black people are the racists in this country. It's that denial, play dumb thing. That's the new rule. The play dumb, the play denial. Now with the Paula Deen situation, we're bringing it back to her. Paula Deen broke that rule. Because Paula Deen is old school. A lot of those old schoolers, they don't like the new shit. They like doing it the old school way, where you just wear your racism on your sleeve. Your racism is like a badge of honor. The racism is like a badge of honor to the point where you don't even look at it as being racism no more. It's just the natural lot in life. That's that old school shit where you don't even know it's racist no more. That's where Paula Deen comes from. Because when I want you guys to Google the transcript of the deposition where they interviewed her. It's fucking hilarious. They said, Paula Deen, the lawyer was like, Paula Deen, have you ever used the N-word before? Paula Deen's response was, of course. Yeah, of course I use the N-word all the time. She slipped up. She started going in. They were like, why did you use it? How did you use it? Do you think it was cool for you to use? And I mean, read the transcript. She's justifying using it. She said one time a black dude, she was working at a bank and a black man robbed her, put a gun to her head. So I guess that was her justification for using the word nigga. And she talks about how her and her family, they use racist jokes. It's just jokes. Just because she says nigga don't mean she's a racist. I'm not racist, y'all. What's wrong with saying niggers? I loves my niggas. It's that type of thing. Where you so racist, you don't even know you're racist no more. That's that whole Barbara Bush thing. Y'all remember George Bush's mother during Hurricane Katrina? When they had to get her ass off camera because she went down there. All that old school racism comes out heavy. When they put the camera in front of Barbara Bush, and y'all please look this up because it's on the internet somewhere. During Hurricane Katrina, all those people were stuck out there and they had to live in shelters and FEMA homes and all that. They put the camera in front of Barbara Bush. They were like, Barbara Bush, how do you feel about these people being, displaced and, just so much negativity happened to these people and we didn't respond. So what do you feel about that? She's like, what? What you talking about? We put these people, they came from the projects. They were already poor. This is a come up. The FEMA camps and the shelters, that's an upgrade. That was her whole vibe. She acted like the shelters were doing them a favor. So they had to take the camera out of her face. Because again, the whole new rule is denial. You're not supposed to wear your racism on your sleeve. You're supposed to act dumb and deny it. So the thing with Paula Deen, people are getting in her ass. She went on and on about how she loves her niggas and she's not racist. And this is the kicker. She was going to have some kind of luncheon because she saw it with one of her friends and colleagues or whoever. One of her friends had like a dinner or some kind of big banquet, and it was a Civil War theme. And those Southerners love that Civil War shit. And speaking of Civil War, I got a new t-shirt line coming out, the Hidden Colors t-shirt line by Tariq Nasheed, and there's like a Civil War Confederate flag type of shirt we have that we remixed. I can't wait for you guys to see it, by the way. We're doing the commercial for the we're doing the commercials for my t-shirts tomorrow and this coming Saturday out here in LA. Hit me up about that if you guys are in town. But a lot of those Southerners love that whole Civil War thing, that reenactment and all that. And somebody who's connected with Paula Deen had like a Civil War themed banquet, and they had the black people dress up like slaves, and Paula Deen wanted to do that. She wanted to dress up black folks like slaves, and she admitted this. This isn't, some shit I'm digging out my ass. She admitted this. She was like, yeah, it would be kind of cool to have them dress up as slaves, for the Civil War theme. So again, this is a person who don't even know the severity of their own racism, because again, they come from an era where you wear it on your sleeve. It's not nothing bad. It's your natural lot in life in your mind. And unfortunately, we live in an environment now where we have people that are comfortable enough to come at you like that. Because my thing is this, I want to know who the niggas are who are letting white people dress them up as fucking slaves. Who are you niggas? I mean, have you guys noticed that? And I can understand the racism, white supremacy. I mean, that is what it is. But cooning, it seems like cooning is at an all-time high. We got some cooning, buck dancing niggas out here who would do some shit like that. Really? What kind of driving Miss Daisy ass niggas do we have running around here that would do some shit like that? You couldn't pay a Jewish person $1 million to dress up as a Holocaust victim and prance around somewhere with somebody. But you always hear niggas doing some old slave ass coon shit for a couple of fucking pennies. I have almost more of a problem with that than anything, that there's black folks who will sit around and go along with that woman's fuckery, or people like that. But again, Paula Deen is a big fat sloppy piece of garbage, and that's another thing, because again, I'm pretty sure some black people taught this woman how to cook, and teaching her how to cook gave her her fame and livelihood right now. This is why this woman is famous, because of some recipes some black folks gave her. And this is what she thinks about these black folks, that they're less than human, that they're niggas. That's why be careful who y'all help. Be careful who you co-sign. You understand me? But I digress as far as that. Let me get a couple of calls before I get into what I really, really wanted to get into today. Let's see who's on the phone. What's up? Who's calling?
Hey, what's going on, Tariq?
What's going on, Playboy? Who is this?
Hey, yo, this is RG, man, from North.
All right, there you go. What's on your mind, player?
Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna keep it short and brief, man. I've been listening to you for like a month straight. I listened to all your old podcasts. I'm like within 2 months of digesting what you basically spitting. I mean, it's like 180, 360, whatever you want to call it, man. And I just wanted to say, man, listen, keep doing what you're doing.
Man, much respect to you, player.
So listen, I ain't realized how much I was simping. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I said, wow. I said, you know what? And everything you basically said, I was doing. And man. I just tweeted it. You know what I mean? I said, you know what, man? I'm doing too much.
Exactly.
And I mean, you know, man, just to give you a little quick story, it's just funny. So today I'm at work, and you know, I'm hitting this young chick. I'm like 34, she's like 24. So my baby father called.
Oh,
so
damn.
He's like, listen, he got my number. Listen, I don't want no problem. I was looking through your Instagram, and you know, some blah, my girl. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, you don't do this. So the guy went into ask to me about, listen, I see you drive trucks. Did your job hiring? I need to send him 1 or 2 books. I said he slipping to the 3rd degree.
Nigga.
You need to leave this alone, my dude. But anyway,
that's hilarious, my dude.
Thanks, you really changed the game for me.
Thanks for the call, brother. That's funny. My nigga called up a dude that his baby mama is fucking, then asked for a job. Is the simping that heavy? That's funny. That nigga said, hey, man, look, I know you're fucking my baby's mom, but you know what? It is what it is, man. Y'all hiring up there because I need some money for this child support check shit. I can get it. If you're fucking, at least give me a recommendation, nigga. Man, is the game that dry right now for niggas. Man, but anyway, I digress. But right now, y'all, I want to talk about this whole 2 Chainz situation. I want to talk about crime and hip-hop, and I want y'all to really feel me on this one. Now, for those who don't know, the rapper 2 Chainz, who signed to, I think he signed to Def Jam. 2 Chainz was in San Francisco or Oakland. He was in the Bay. I just say he was in the Bay last week. Him and some of his associates, I think they were downtown San Francisco. I think it was San Francisco. They were downtown San Francisco. I think they were going to buy some weed or some shit like that. Somebody set them up. And some dudes rolled up with the burners. Couple of dudes ran up, bucking shots at him. These niggas broke out running. 2 Chainz fell down. The guy got him for his cell phone, and one of the guys got him for his wallet. And the guys who robbed him are still at large. They've never been caught. And the media had a field day with this. It was all over the place. It made national news. It circulated among the blogs. I mean, it was all over the place. And a lot of people were kind of making fun of 2 Chainz and kind of making it into a joke. They were kind of joking around about it. And let me say this, that shit was not a joke. First of all, man, on some real shit, the brother could have gotten killed. That brother could have gotten shot. And that's not funny. There's nothing funny about some bullshit like that happening to a brother. That man is a father, man. The guy's kid could have been fatherless. So that's not funny to me. Anytime a brother gets ran up on over some bullshit. And there's a lot of niggas out here, and I use the word nigga very literally, trying to justify why 2 Chainz got robbed. Oh, if he wasn't rapping about street shit, that wouldn't have happened. That's the Negro in you talking. That's the little KKK member inside of you talking. To even say some shit like that. There's no justification for this dude getting ran up on and he didn't do anything. That's some sucker shit. And a lot of niggas got this whole thing, well, man, it's real out here in the streets. Niggas are hungry. That didn't have shit to do with nobody being hungry. That was some niggas trying to get a rep. Nothing more, nothing less. That was some niggas trying to get a rep. And I can't co-sign that. That wasn't cool at all. There was just niggas trying to get a rep. Yeah, nothing more, nothing less. So, but the thing is about rappers getting robbed, I want y'all to notice something. I want y'all to notice something about rappers who get robbed, rappers who get shot, rappers who get jacked, rappers who get killed. I want y'all to notice something, and I want y'all to put on your thinking caps. You got to start thinking like a chess player. There's one common denominator. You ever notice that when rappers get robbed, killed, shot, jacked, or whatever, the person who did it are never caught? Think about this. I want y'all to think just for a minute. Have you ever seen a story where somebody says, such and such who robbed this rapper was captured today and locked up? You never heard of that. A lot of people don't notice that. I notice that every time. And it goes all the way back. I mean, it goes back to Tupac and Biggie. Nobody was arrested for shooting Tupac twice. Tupac got shot twice. Remember, 2 separate times, nobody was arrested in either case. When Tupac got shot in New York at the Quad Studio, everybody in New York knew who shot Tupac. Tupac knew who shot Tupac. But they never arrested the guy. Think about this. Think about this, people. It's not hard to find out who did it. I mean, whenever there's a crime, you can just look at flimsy evidence and you can figure out who did the crime. But is very deliberate that they don't arrest the people who commit crimes against hip-hop artists. Let's put on our thinking caps. Now, again, with Tupac, every nigga in Brooklyn knew who shot Tupac. When Tupac went to jail, Tupac said he met niggas who said who shot him. He was like, hey, Tupac, everybody know who shot you. When Tupac got killed, everybody knew who did it. People knew the dude who was the trigger man. They know who he was. That guy was never arrested for that. When Biggie got shot, people know who did it. There's police officers know who did it. There's a cop who's running around doing documentaries. He's like, I left the force because I don't know what they're trying to cover up, but we know who shot Biggie. They won't arrest the guy. Everybody gave the same description of the same guy, and they know who the guy is. I mean, this is all across the board. When rappers get shot, killed, jacked, or whatever, nothing ever happens to the person who does it. When Cameron, let's go back to just random rappers. Like when Cameron, y'all remember him? Well, Cameron, he's still doing his thing. But y'all remember when Cameron, they tried to carjack Cameron a few years ago. They tried to jack him and he got shot. The person who shot and tried to jack Cameron was never arrested. You understand? And this is another thing. A lot of these rappers, they have task force that follow them damn near around the clock. And whenever they get shot or robbed or jacked or killed, no one is arrested. And usually it's in a very public place with a lot of witnesses, but nobody is never arrested. Rappers get jacked all the time and nobody get arrested for that. Look at Young Berg. Y'all remember Young Berg? Young Berg, how many times did this nigga get robbed? Young Berg went on a get robbed tour. They robbed that nigga about 5 times in 5 different cities. And the word was out that it's cool to rob this guy because we're not going to prosecute you. We're not going to do anything to you. You understand what I'm saying? Cats be robbing Young Berg. They were robbing him and then getting on the internet bragging about robbing him. They had his chain all up. Hey, I robbed Young Berg today. By the way, I got a new mixtape coming out called It's Real Out Here in the Streets. So cats were bragging about robbing this dude, but nobody was arrested. That is the common denominator. Nobody gets arrested. Rick Ross, rapper Rick Ross. They were threatening Rick Ross on the internet. Hey, we gonna get him. And then they end up shooting up his car. Nobody got arrested for shooting up Rick Ross's car. Why? We got to start asking why. It ain't like the police are incompetent. There's a reason why they let this stuff go on. They let certain crimes go on. And that brings us up to 2 Chainz. Now look at 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz got robbed downtown San Francisco in broad daylight by 2 niggas with 2 security cameras from 2 different angles. The dudes didn't have no mask. They shot up all up in the streets. There's shell casings all over the place. Some of the dudes even called up radio stations who were associated with these dudes in the Bay, kind of bragging about it. And you think that law enforcement does not know who shot up 2 Chainz or shot at 2 Chainz and robbed him? Do you honestly think law enforcement does not know who did that? They are very well aware who shot at 2 Chainz and robbed him. You could have found that motherfucker that day. If he stole the phone, all you had to do is trace the phone. Any nigga can find out who did that. You could do a trace on the phone and find out where the phone went. You can do an iPhone app trace on the goddamn phone to find out who robbed him. But again, nobody got arrested because they're not trying to arrest the people. Now, that isn't to say they might not arrest them for something else, because let me say this, the cats who robbed 2 Chainz, your block is hot right now. Let me say this to the street dudes up in the Bay. The dudes who pulled that robbery, even though they're not going to arrest the dude for robbing 2 Chainz, your block is hot right now. The cops all over your shit, eyeing you niggas, everybody associated with you niggas. They eyeing you right now, and they're going to get y'all for something else. But they're not going to get you for this. But you put yourself on the radar. So why does this go on? This goes on to send a message. It goes on because it creates certain headlines. Because when you get major headlines showing that a rapper was robbed, that satisfies a certain agenda. I call it a more realistic Willie Horton ad. Let me explain what that means. In the 1980s, like around 1988, there were these ads that came on television during a presidential election. George Bush Sr. was running for president. He was running against a guy named Dukakis. And, the race was very, very close. It was a very close race. And some of the Republican advisors to George Bush, they said, okay, we can win this, but we got to go dirty. We got to use dirty politics. We're going to have to use the old-fashioned Southern strategy. And the Southern strategy is when you use some kind of racially charged political ad in order to get your followers or in order to slander another opponent. Using the black boogeyman is a surefire way to win an election or get people to co-sign on your side. That's been a strategy for as long as whites and blacks have interacted in this country. The Southern strategy works. But the thing about the Southern strategy, doing it makes you automatically seem racist, because it is very racist, because you're playing on racial fear. So you try to do it without seeming racist as much as you can, but a lot of times you can't get around that. So during 1988, during this election, they found out that Dukakis was a part of, or he co-signed some kind of weekend pass for prisoners program. So the Republicans, they said, well, how can we use this to our advantage? So what they did, they went and found some random black dude, just pulled him out of thin air, some random black guy who was in prison, who was released on this weekend work release program for prisoners, and his name was Willie Horton. Willie Horton was released for like a weekend, and while he was released, he went and killed this white couple and raped a white woman. He just, did some crazy nigga shit. And they picked that story and started running ads with that story. National ads. Now, the thing is, what was interesting about that, there were several white felons who had committed felonies, and they abused that program as well, but they overlooked all of them and just found that one black guy, Willie Horton. And they started running these ads. Don't vote for Dukakis. Dukakis was a part of a work release program that let out Willie Horton, and he went and raped and killed, and they showing his face all on television, scared the shit out of white people in middle America, and they ran and voted for George Bush Sr., and he actually won the election, and many people contribute that ad for helping him win that election. But they were really, really highly criticized for that ad. I mean, they were criticized heavy, as they should have been. And the Willie Horton style ad, that's become an epithet in politics. When people start using racially charged ads, they're accused of Willie Horton politics. So a lot of people in this country, they want to still use that Southern strategy, the black boogeyman strategy, in order to gain sympathy, in order to gain votes, in order to raise money, because it does work, using the black boogeyman thing. But they can't just go pick random black dudes no more, because that's going to show you for what you really are. So what they do now, they will publicize hip-hop violence, and they will never prosecute people who commit crimes against hip-hop artists, because they encourage people to continue these crimes. Because when you commit a crime against a hip-hop artist, that gains national headlines. And to people in middle America, especially certain voters in middle America, I'm not talking about the youth, but certain voters in middle America, they don't know one hip-hop artist from another one. Hip-hop artist just means niggas to them, just young niggas. That's all hip-hop means to them. So when they say hip-hop artist 2 Chainz got robbed, they're like, well, some niggas out here fighting and being violent again? That's all that is. So whenever there's a crime with hip-hop artists, they over-publicize it, they run it through the media, and it gets national headlines. And when somebody has a political agenda and they want to raise money, or they want to get some kind of funding, they can just say, instead of finding some random black guy, they can go in front of a crowd and say, hey, we're trying to raise funding for prison. Did you hear about such and such rapper who got shot up out here last year? This is why we need stricter prisons. Did you hear about Tupac getting shot? Did you hear about 2 Chainz getting robbed? This is why we need to take money and get private schools. You understand what I'm saying? That's how they do it. They use that to their advantage. See, people are playing chess here. They're 10 steps ahead. And they run with those hip-hop violence headlines. And you notice a lot of times they'll publicize a rapper who's not even known. A lot of times we hear stories about some rapper who got shot that don't nobody know. Ladies, tonight at 11, rapper Lil Buckwheat got shot in Memphis. And you're like, who the fuck is Lil Buckwheat? Don't nobody know who the fuck is Lil Buckwheat or whoever it is, but in the middle of America, they don't know that Lil Buckwheat is unknown. Because again, they're just finding some random black dude. And if they say he's a rapper, it will make it seem like he's not so random. They try to make it seem like he's a national artist. For example, there was a guy out here in LA who got killed in the Beverly Center, or by the Beverly Center. He got robbed, and they kept saying he was a rapper. And they kept running with that in national news. It was some guy, I don't know who he was, but he was some dude who wasn't even out. He didn't have no record out. Didn't nobody know who he was, but he was just a guy who got robbed. And in order to kind of flip the story and give it legs, they just associate him with being a rapper. And again, they never show somebody getting prosecuted for that because they say, look, this is hip-hop violence. Hip-hop rapper killed somebody. Somebody got killed a rapper, shot a rapper, and he's still on the loose. So be scared and give us some money to protect you. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to understand the hustle that's down with that. And again, they've been using the hip hop violence thing to promote certain agendas for a long time. Just like it started really in the 80s with like the Run DMC concert. There was a very famous Run DMC concert out in Long Beach, and there was a lot of gang violence, and they ran with that. There was a gang fight. They had Bloods and Crips out there in Long Beach, and they were fighting, and they ran with that story, and they would use that to justify stricter jail sentences. They use that stuff to justify other agendas. So we got to be very careful about the stuff that we ourselves co-sign and understand why it's being publicized the way it's being publicized, and understand why nobody's being prosecuted for a lot of this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, they know who's shooting who. They know who's robbing who. Just like with Tupac and Biggie, when the people know. When Biggie got shot, he got shot on Wilshire Boulevard. And there's always been cameras on Wilshire Boulevard. If you run a light on Wilshire Boulevard, they'll take your picture and send the picture to your house. So you got to understand how the game is being worked. And if a rapper or somebody gets shot, there's no demand for justice. And there's this whole, well, it's their own fault. And black folks got to get off that. As if people deserve to get shot or killed or robbed. Black folks start saying that stupid shit. You got to cut that out. That's that whole Trayvon Martin thing. They keep talking about how he deserved to get killed. He was a thug. That's why Trayvon Martin's killer, George Zimmerman, is getting so much money. People are giving this dude hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Y'all got to think why they're doing that. Because deep down, they think that a lot of young black men deserve to get killed. So again, I'm just trying to get y'all to peep game, but don't think for a minute they don't know who's doing these robberies, who's doing these murders. They know good and well who shot at 2 Chainz. They know the dudes, but they're just not going to arrest them. They're not going to prosecute them because they need that fear out there. They need that Willie Horton style publicity out there. They need it. And they're going to milk that. And people of color, y'all stop co-signing that bullshit and start asking questions. And my dudes in the rap game, be careful because they let it be open season on you. Because if you get shot, that's a great thing. If you get shot, they can flip that in so many different ways. As a matter of fact, they almost want rappers to get shot. So a lot of cats in the rap game have to be very, very careful, man. You got to be very, very careful. Anyway, man, that's been today's episode of the Mack Lessons Radio Show. I'm Tariq Nasheed. Check out HiddenColorsFilm.com. Go to Amazon. Check out my Relationships, Riches, and Race DVD. My Game for Women DVD, or I might just have it as a download. The lecture I did recently in Atlanta, real good game in that. It's called The Game for Women. That's going to be available soon. Go to iTunes. Check out my movie, The Eugenist. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a holla. Peace. Holla. Peace. Holla. Peace. Holla. Peace. Holla. Peace.